Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to explore the traditional method of making coconut oil through fermentation. This process results in a high quality oil with a distinctive flavor and aroma. So in this process, first off, we're going to cut open our coconuts. Make sure you're using mature coconuts because the mature coconuts yield more oil than the immature ones. So in here I'm cutting them open. Now the next step, you might choose to use fire to ease out the shelling process. You might choose to use this method in order to make the deshelling process easier. So I'm not going to show you what I do. Just with one coconut, I introduce fire to it to be able to help in deshelling it easily. Mind you, here I used a total of 4 small sized matured coconuts. They were very tasty. So these are 4 small mature coconuts. So after which, now you can start scoping. I start scoping out the white coconut meat from the shells. Please make sure there is no child in the background, and make sure that you've been very careful, especially dealing with knife. So this is the one I used the fire. I introduced fire to. You see how easily it came off, very easily. So if you have a lot of patience, you can use this method by introducing fire to all of them, and then it helps to make the deshelling process easier. So that is that. Here I'm done deshelling the coconuts. Now the next step is to dice up the coconuts, the coconut meat. Okay, I washed this up to avoid any form of impurities or any form of shells in the coconut. So you have to wash them up, get them clean from impurities. Clean your space. I always clean my space. It helps the work easier for me. So here I cleaned up my space in preparation for the next step. So the next step here, we are going to cut or dice the coconut meat. So I'm dicing this up because I'm using a blender, and the blender is 550 watts. So always make sure you check the power capacity of your blender before using them to blend your coconuts. You can use a juicer, you can use a grater, but what I had available was a blender. So in order to help the blades of my blender to make this coconut blending smooth, I had to dice them up in small sizes. So in here I'm done with the dicing. This is just to make sure that the coconut meat blends into fine particles. So the next step here is to blend. So I'm putting them in my blender. Also make sure you add adequate amount of water to help the blades of the blender to blend them well. Always make sure you add adequate amount of water. If the blender you're using, you're not so sure of the capacity of the blending capacity for this coconut, you can make sure you add water. But if it's a blender that has up to from 600, 700 upwards, if something that has a higher power capacity, you can add water. Still add adequate amount of water just to help them blend easily. So in here, I'm done blending. See how it looks? I blended them into fine pieces. So the next step, you add your warm water in order to help with the extraction of the milk. So you squeeze. If you're using a mesh, you squeeze, you put the mixture and then squeeze out to extract the milk. I'm using a sieve to squeeze the blended coconut mixture in order to extract the coconut milk. So if you have a cheesecloth, fine, perfect. But I'm making use of what I had available at the moment, which is a sieve. Please make sure you don't use hot water or very cold water. Make sure it's warm, in warm water. Hot water would affect the fermentation process, and very cold water would not extract the coconut milk effectively. So here I have my coconut milk. This is the coconut milk, and then the chaff. This chaff, you can make it into coconut fufu. You can use it in desserts. You can use it for other things, or you can just discard them. For me, I discarded because I wouldn't be using it for anything at the moment. Now, another important thing is to make sure that when transferring the coconut milk to a container, make sure that the container is a safe container that helps with the fermentation process. Make sure that you're transferring to a container that has a wide surface area in order to help the fermentation process. Make sure that the container is safe. I'm using this storage because it has actually helped. It helps in fermenting the milk very effectively. What's in there is not sand. It's just the brown part of the coconut that has been blended. It's not sand. So make sure that your storage container is safe. don't use storage containers that would react to the coconut milk during fermentation process. So you cover up tight, and so the next step here is placing the container with the mixture in a dark warm area to let it ferment. Here I'm storing it in an oven. This oven is without heat, so you place it in a container with the mixture in a dark warm area and let it ferment for 24 hours. So this after 24 hours. So after 24 hours, the fermentation process has been achieved, and this process helps to allow the oil to separate from the milk. So this is what we have here after 24 hours of fermentation. You will notice the oil has separated from the milk. So in here we have the oil, the curd, and then the liquid underneath. This slimy white substance or brownish substance, or I would say off-white substance, is called the curd. It's very healthy. So you are scooping out the oil and the curd off the top. So up close you can see the oil floating in the spoon with the curd. So that is what you're going to scoop out. Yes, some liquids might enter. You might scoop out some liquid. There is no cause for alarm, because we are still going to extract the liquid further. So this is my raw organic coconut oil. Very good for the health, very good for the skin, very good for our hairs, even for the nails. It helps our nails to grow. It's so good. This is what I call nature's gift to mankind. Very healthy. So this is the extracted oil, curd, and still a little amount of liquid, of which would be putting in the fridge for 30 minutes just to help them separate, just to help the water separate from the oil and the curd. Now after 30 minutes, we have the water underneath and the oil and the curd above the water. So this is just a way of further extracting the oil from the water. So because I'll be introducing heat to this, but a little amount of heat, because I want the oil to extract effectively. I'll be introducing heat to it. If you wish not to use heat, it's fine. You can just extract the oil from the curd, but here I'll be introducing heat so as to make sure that there's no liquid in my oil. So I turned on the heat. Very low heat. heat is going to be very low so that the oil can be extracted well and the liquid can evaporate as well. So I put in a low heat for about 15 minutes, or I would say 10 minutes, in a low heat for 10 to 15 minutes. So after 10 minutes, you can see the outcome. Next step is to sieve or filter the oil from the solid. Like I said, I introduce heat to this mixture to further extract the oil. So now this is it. You can see my oil. So I also used this low heat so as to retain the nutrients and flavor and also the color of the oil. The more you heat, the more it affects the color of your oil. So I didn't want it to get darker, so that is why I use low heat. So again, I further filtered again just to make sure it's free from impurities. So I'm filtering it to a storage container in which I will store the organic coconut milk oil. So we have it. I transferred it to a glass to show you how it looks like. So this is our raw organic coconut oil. Very good for our hair, our skin, our nails, our body. So you store the coconut oil in an airtight container to prevent contamination and oxidation, because coconut oil doesn't like to be exposed to light. Store in a cool, dark place in order to increase its shelf life. So that is it.